A conservative group launches a quiet effort to drive black voters away from President Biden. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back in with a new video, and today it is time to talk about the 2024 presidential election. Now, as most of you know, Biden has been struggling with black voters during his entire presidency. I mean, every poll demonstrates him doing awful with this group. It is getting so bad that some conservative groups have launched attacks against Biden, focusing on black voters, and it seems like it might actually be working. Now, before we continue with today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Of course, all support is greatly appreciated, and yeah, let's get right into it. Now, let's be 100% clear. Biden will win black voters by a significant margin. It's just gonna happen. He's a Democrat. But that doesn't mean there's some problems with Biden when it comes to black voters. Whether it's low turnout, him doing horrible considering, there's a lot of problems with Biden. And a conservative group in South Carolina, they used a mailer ad to see, alright, could we get these voters not necessarily to flip to say Trump, but just not vote at all? Now, to be clear, South Carolina had bad turnout, but that was probably because it was basically uncontested and Biden's the incumbent. So you could say the mailer probably did nothing, but there was some data points indicate there was some bad turnout in some very black precincts in South Carolina. President Joe Biden could be facing a turnout problem in 2024, and an experimental stealth campaign during South Carolina's Democratic primary highlights one way players in the Republican Party will be trying to exploit Biden's weakness. A conservative group funded by anonymous donors sent mailers to approximately 75,000 Democratic primary voters in South Carolina, a heavily black electorate, ahead of the February 3rd primary, criticizing Biden over his administration's push to ban menthol cigarettes. Black smokers are more likely to use menthol cigarettes, according to research cited by the FDA, and the potential ban has divided civil rights groups. So, I know on paper that seems kind of corny, like, well, wait, why are you focused on menthol cigarettes? It's like, whoop-de-doo. But the way they worded this ad is actually very good. Leadership is about setting priorities. Instead of banning menthol cigarettes, President Biden should stop the flow of illegal drugs in our country, make groceries more affordable, make college more affordable, tell President Biden to do what he promised. It's simple. It's like, okay, whatever. You probably don't smoke menthol, but there are some that do. But it's a valid point. It's like, wait, you're more focused on banning cigarettes than fixing grocery prices, make college more affordable, stopping the flow of drugs? I mean, it's small stuff like this where, yeah, you could dissuade some voters from just not voting because it's like, well, you're focused on banning crap like that, but you're not worried about the border? A source familiar with the strategy driving the group Building America's Future told NBC News that while it's still analyzing how the mailers affected recipients' votes in the primary, the nonprofit is planning to reinvest in a similar strategy later this year, which I think's smart. I mean, both parties have done this for years, but in particular Democrats, they have been doing this crap for decades. I mean, they interfere with primaries 24/7, sending out mailers, making it sound like this person is too conservative, you shouldn't vote for him in Republican areas. It's about frickin' time Republicans did something similar. In fact, I think this is actually effective. Granted, we don't know how much this impacted the primary, but there were some signs that black voters just did not vote. The group is planning to spend more than $1 million in efforts aimed at pushing Democrat voters away from Biden in the general election, primarily in the battleground states. It plans to target predominantly black voters in the swing states of Pennsylvania, Michigan, Georgia, and Wisconsin with a mix of television, digital, radio, and direct mail. But the group may also target young voters, too, as it did during Golf's WM Phoenix Open this month by focusing on concern about potential bans on nicotine pouches like Zing. Targeting base demographics for the other party and encouraging members to waiver is nothing new, and it's a major tactic of both parties. Well, mostly the Democrats. I mean, yeah, Republicans do sometimes do this. But Democrats are notorious for interfering in primaries, especially in 2018 to 2022. I mean, they ran ads saying Doug Mastriano is too conservative for Pennsylvania, only in Central PA. It's like, yeah, I wonder who votes in Central PA. Conservatives. They do this crap every year. And I do understand the concern of this being pandering. Like, you're focused on Zing, you're focused on whatever. But it's like, okay, you can do this in a smart way, not just pandering. Just say, look, they're focused on banning Zing, but they're not focused on fixing the affordability of college. That's how you do it. And that's how this group is doing it. It's like, hey, they're focusing on banning cigarettes, but they're not worried about the flow of drugs, groceries being expensive, college being too expensive, everything. It's stuff like this where I do think it could actually work, not just, oh, Blexit and call it a day. But what could be new in 2024 is how receptive voters might be to messages urging to abandon Biden or Trump. Trump has long struggled with certain traditional Republican demographics, and Biden's declining standing with black voters and younger voters, among other groups, has been notable in recent polling. Yeah, I mean, this has been clear for months now, if not years. Biden just cannot win black or young voters at traditional rates. He's still winning them. Young voters, it's 50-50, but black voters, yeah. He's still winning by quite a bit, but instead of winning them by 70 or 80, he's winning them by 60. Which, yeah, it's still a lot, but for a Democrat, that's a death blow in Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan. And that's why, again, pandering is bad. Don't pander like Trump did in 2020. It didn't work. Focus on, hey, Biden's more focused on diversity crap, focused on banning Zing, whatever, but he's not focused on the southern border. That's all you gotta say. And I think it's a far more effective strategy than just saying Democrats are racist. That doesn't do anything. That doesn't turn people off. It's like, really? You think that's gonna work? Much of political strategy and commentary focus on flipping supporters from one candidate to another, but just subtracting a vote from the other side is a part of political campaigns too. And this is the biggest part of this strategy. Like I said, they're testing the grounds like, okay, we don't need these voters to flip. It would be nice, but let's try to make them not vote. Just say, all right, one less Biden voter is a win for Trump. In a state like Georgia, we lost, what, by 12,000 votes? That could decide the race. So this is the main part of the strategy. Not necessarily flip these voters, they probably could, but focus on making them just not vote. Shrinking the amount of Biden voters in the electorate. That is smart. Polling commissioned by the group found that a majority of South Carolina Democratic primary voters supported the proposed ban, but a significant share either disapproved or didn't have feelings about it. Those voters, black voters especially, had a more negative reaction to language saying that Biden had criminalized menthol cigarettes. And the numbers highlighted a key trend seen in other polls: Biden's comparative weakness among younger Democrats. So even this poll admitted, yeah, the majority of Democrats supported it. They supported the ban. But it appears there are many voters on the Democrat side hostile to this. They were saying that, wait, you want to criminalize menthol? That's stupid. But it also does bring up the point of, hey, Biden really has some problems with these younger voters. The source adds that the group believes this issue could help soften Biden with these voters, in part because of progressive criticism about his tough on crime past, and make Biden work harder to earn their vote, further dividing the coalition, adding that they believe some of these voters could be winnable for Republicans. Now, would I go that far and say these voters will flip? No. But this is smart strategy. This is how you win an election. Don't focus on Blexit crap. That's not going to work. We should instead focus on making these voters just not want to vote. Say, screw it. I'm not going to vote for Biden. What's the point? He's not going to improve my life and he's screwing me over. Whether it's young progressives, whether it's black voters, whatever. We should focus on making those voters just not want to vote for this guy. It's an electorally genius strategy. In fact, there is very much signs of this happening. That, hey, Biden is doing horrific with traditionally Democrat groups. Just to illustrate this point even further, Richard Barris released a brand new poll just like 2 to 3 days ago. And this is the Biden versus Trump section. Do you notice a problem here for Biden? He is below 60% with African American voters. Trump's at 21%. You could say that's maybe an outlier. But there are 20% of black voters that are just straight up undecided. That is not good. Biden needs to win a lot more than just 60% of black voters. I mean, we can look at the approval rating just to show you what I'm talking about. Look at this. Biden is barely above 60% with African American voters, with 32% disapproving the job he's done. These numbers for a Democrat is horrific. You can look at everything. The economy. Only 62% approve. Inflation and cost of living. Only 59%. Keep going. Immigration. 43%. And this is a group that has always voted Democrat. Foreign policy. Only 46%. You could keep going and you realize, yeah, there is a big problem for Biden. These African American voters, hell, we can even look at young voters. Just an example. Same thing. His approval, good Lord, that's what? 42% with the young voters? Just for context, Biden got over 60% of the vote back in 2020 with 18 to 29-year-old voters. Right now, he's at 42% approval. I mean, there's nothing here that indicates he has strength with his voters. We've had this for months, though, but this is just a point I'm trying to tell people. There is something happening with these voters. They're not happy with Biden. They are bailing on him. And this is the way Republicans have to deal with this. If you can't get them on your side, tell them. Just don't vote. Tell them all the broken promises Biden gave them. Every single one of them. Whether it's climate change crap, whether it's something at the border, whatever. Tell them he broke his promises to you. Why should you deliver him 4 more years? I highly encourage Republicans to push this because this is one way you win an election. Yes, you got to win through persuasion, but you can also persuade them. Just don't vote. Just don't vote at all. And that's a win for Republicans. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy, smash the like button down below. Subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Thank you so much. Godspeed to all of you.